Hello, friends of Balsamic. I'm Leon. Today we're going to be doing a live wireframing session with Grace from an organization called Hope for the Caribbean. She wanted some help building a brand new website for her organization from scratch. We'll start by letting her introduce herself and telling us a bit about her project.
Yes, my name is Grace, but I go by Jasmine Bagnulo. And thank you so much, Balsamic, for having me. I'm really looking forward to this session. I'm sure Leon is going to do extraordinary things. I'm working for this nonprofit called Hope for the Caribbean. It was started initially after the Haitian earthquake, and then, the administration changed, so there wasn't a lot of money that was going to Haiti after that. So the project kind of went under the radar because, not a lot of people have the funds to keep it going. And I think between the board members and I just happened to run into them, and they said, well, listen, with all this stuff that's happening in the Caribbean over the summer, what do you think about maybe kind of resuscitating this project that we had? And that's basically where we're coming from right now. We used to have an old website. It wasn't, very fancy or put together because we weren't relying on public funds. Because they had a specific from our USAID just for Haitian relief. But now that we're going to have to start relying on public funds and potentially fundraising, we absolutely need a website that looks good, that people feel connected to, they can participate in, and of course, want to give us money. So that's where I'm coming from. So I've got the website handle, hopeofcaribbean.org, and that's just about it. And I've got my friend who's from SIA Africa. He's like, well, why don't you just go ahead and use our website as a kind of template for what you want to do. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, super cool. I don't know anything about web design. I went to law school, and I have a lot of familiarity with different projects, but actually running projects myself. So this is a whole new experience for me, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, so basically we want to get a website that would divide up the projects that we potentially want to do into 3 different areas. One of those would be microloans, one of those would be medical camps, and one of those would be business partnerships. So I really like Nini, who's the founder of SIA Africa. He has an entire page dedicated to the partners. And especially with the Caribbean in kind of disarray, we've been thinking, what should we do with that? Should we highlight maybe local businesses that need maybe just tourists to come to the Caribbean and just, spend money? Maybe there's some way that we can help businesses get back on their feet by just having maybe a separate page for them, and in the way that he puts out his little partnership webpage. Then of course there's the media aspect, how are we gonna get people communicating with us? What's the best thing to do? Are we gonna just post blogs? Do we want to do videos? Do we want to add an Instagram live feed? Obviously we do. I think everybody has to. You've got to have a link to your Facebook page and your Instagram and your Twitter. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be where I want to start from is really trying to focus on how we can get the most participation and communication. Do we want a live chat, or do we want people to just donate? I don't really know what maybe the best thing for people to start communicating with us is, because I really want people to get emotionally involved. I think that's when you get the most responses. I mean, there is a possibility that we may want to offer some kind of a membership, and allow people to kind of participate that way. I don't know what benefit they would get by signing up with us yet, but maybe we could in the future allow people who were like signed up as a member to like maybe get a discount of like one of our partners, you know, in the Caribbean, and kind of like get business going that way. So yeah, I think, you know, I don't know what else to say. Do you have any other good ideas?
It sounds like you have a lot of ideas.
Exactly.
Yes, I can try to help you put those into a form that can be put onto the web. So it's you know, it's like how do we then kind of coalesce those ideas and put them on a website and direct people in the way that you want to direct them, and kind of create that kind of emotional you know, connection, or try to get their attention, basically.
Yeah. What I really like about the SIA Africa site, and I think what Kiva does similarly, is allow people to donate to each project specifically. So if I were to put like a mini project on like the website, like maybe you could watch a video of it and donate to that project specifically. But of course that's going to be maybe a little bit more complicated with coding, and then there's obviously like a budget concern for us, at least, you know, right now there is, because we're just kind of, you know, branching out on our own.
Do you I like that idea. Do you have the kind of ignoring the technical side of things, do you have the resources and the information to create that, like a video on each project or a little blurb on each project?
I don't right now, because the last project they did was in Haiti, and that was a while ago. So we're actually going to have to like restart some kind of a project. And basically what we'll probably do is, we're thinking right now to restart the project that has to do with like sort of what they call medical camps. But that's not necessarily something that's super flashy or super fun, and can be kind of gruesome, let's face it. But that's kind of where the biggest need in the Caribbean is right now. So I'm hoping to actually maybe encourage the folks on the board to start that kind of medical program along with microloans, because microloans are fun. You can click on it and you can see people with like a happy face and are like going, hey, this is like my great business plan, and not necessarily something that's just disaster relief. Of course the two have to go hand in hand, but you know, is there a way? I don't really know how to make sort of like emergency medical care, which is kind of what's needed in certain parts of the Caribbean right now, like how to make that, you know, translate to people, you know, here who are just so distant from that. There could be a way that we could show some kind of medical care programs that we do, like maybe here in the United States, without it being so like shocking and depressing. Because I, for me personally, I really don't think that the shock value gets across like the message, because this is just my personal opinion from a marketing perspective, which I have some experience with. But I think people get enough of that from the news, and they're kind of like, just kind of like, oh, just turn it off. Like they can see the kind of sad or negative images anywhere, right? Like they don't need to come to our site to see that. So that's just kind of like my own perspective, whether that's, you know, whether that's, you know, the truth or not.
Right.
That can be debated. But that's just what I would really like, because of course, you know, the word hope is in our, you know, it's in our mission statement basically. So I would like to somehow demonstrate emergency and disaster relief as being, you know, helpful and hopeful.
Right. I think I see what you're saying, that the people who are coming to the site, they want to feel like they're being helpful. They want it to be positive. So it's not, look how terrible this situation is, but what can I do? More emphasis on what can I do to help? How can I? Okay. That's great. So maybe I will share my screen and we can start kind of getting some of these ideas written down.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay. Share my screen.
I'm also actually thinking if there's a way that we can do some kind of maybe mapping for like the actual Caribbean region, and maybe some like little, points where somebody could, zoom into like a country and see like maybe what project is happening there.
Oh,
I think that would be really interactive, and I think that would be pretty amazing.
That sounds like a cool idea. So let's see. Can you see my my screen?
Your
here?
grid, absolutely.
Okay, great. So this is our Balsamic Cloud product. And I think what I'll do before we kind of start getting into the actual wireframing is just kind of write down some of the stuff you were talking about. So I know in the past what we've done is that's been useful is to kind of write down a list of the people that we're targeting, and then also a list of some of the paths that we would like them to follow. So some of the goals that you want to achieve and maybe how they might get there. So if we talk about actors, like, so these would be people who would be going to the site. I guess they'd be potential donors, people, you want people who want to give money, and then I know that you want to kind of raise awareness. Who would be some other people that you would want to attract to this site?
I mean, I think if we're going to go in the tech direction, it would probably be younger people, millennials, just to kind of get website traffic to kind of help the project become more of a household name, which is why I'm so interested in having it be really interactive, because it's not just about donors. It's really about an idea. It's about like kind of a vision for the Caribbean. So donors aside, if you just like focus on donors, I think you're going to really find that almost no momentum will be given to your different projects. So I think that, getting traffic there somehow is probably going to focus on like millennials and whatnot. I mean, sort of, those types.
So
I'm not sure how else to describe it.
Yeah, if we're integrating things like Instagram and stuff, that would exist.
Yeah.
You could put that on the website, and that would also exist to help people to bring people to the website. And then do you also maybe want to make it easy for people to then share, like once they're on the website, to tell people, hey, check out this website, or here's some information, to be able to share it then on other, social media channels?
Yeah, I think that would be really great. And I've also seen on some websites, and I don't know how to describe it because I myself am not a tech person. I've seen, like when they have like a sidebar, when certain, I don't know how to describe it, like there's like a sidebar, or like it looks like a chat window, but it's not precisely like I think a chat window, but it sort of it's almost like a live stream of like maybe people who are connected onto the organization's Facebook page, which was created. It shows on the website what people on Facebook are posting almost, and I may be completely wrong about that, but it will like what people are saying on other sites connected to the website. And that's just like a future idea. Like, let's say we could do it with Twitter, like hashtag this, and every time that hashtag comes up, it would show up on the website.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Thank you. I like it too. I'm not sure if it exists. I'm not sure how other people do it, but yeah, it's I think I've seen it done. I think I've only seen it done in like a live stream, so I have to be cautiously optimistic with that.
Yes, well, if you can get the right developers, then I think anything is possible.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
All right, and so you mentioned a couple of other websites that you kind of wanted to draw some inspiration from, so maybe we can look at those. One
Sure,
is this
absolutely.
SIA Africa site.
Yes.
This is the one that
Yeah.
you're...
Yeah, absolutely.
So they have, some of the things that we might want to look at, that we might want to kind of borrow from is, this site, they probably designed it so that the thing that they most want people to do or be drawn to is this big area in the middle. So their primary kind of like call to action here would be this learn more button, and then maybe secondarily they have a big red donate button on the upper right. So if we're kind of looking at imagining what discussion they're having when they're building the website, it's like, what are the top two things we want to do? We want to make it easy for people to donate, and we want them to go to this learn more, which goes to their about page. So this is kind of learn more about the organization and their model. But I like what you were saying earlier about kind of highlighting the projects and what that made me think.
Mapping. Everybody wants mapping, because like if you talk about the Caribbean, nobody even knows where it is, right? I mean, you can talk about what's the difference between, I don't know, there's so many different islands, and I can't even think off the top of my head. But I think a lot of people just don't know geographically where some things might be, and it would just be really great if you just had like a map and just be like, hey, there's this project here, and sort of in the way that they had their little learn more, you could have like a little button for that kind of interactive map. That would be more complicated and probably more expensive, but I think it would be really great for that purpose. And then of course we have projects in the US and in Florida in particular, but in fact I think they're going to be having one this Thanksgiving, which is right around the corner. So like that kind of map would really just demonstrate where we're focusing our energy.
I think that's a great idea, and I think that this idea, I mean, each project is tied to a story, and people love stories, and so I think making that front and center, this site here, they have their recent projects here, and this is kind of what you were talking about before with like a video and these stories. And what maybe we could do for you guys is maybe make this part a little bit more a front and center. Let's see, you also talked about Kiva, right? Is that KIVA? .org probably. So let's see, I bet they're quite focused on stories. So here, so these are all people's stories. So it's really, it's really simple. So it's just, and this is kind of what you were talking about with the hope thing, look, you give $25 and you can help people around the world. So it's not, what you're seeing is people doing positive things, not people who are just, look, you see people smiling.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, oh, I have $25. I can make these people, make people smile. So that seems like a good stopping point. We'll pick up where we left off in the next episode.